Hello guys, welcome to SQL Day 4 series. From today I am going to explain you each and everything of SQL in detail. So before proceeding, let's understand what is the data. Data is nothing but a raw fact which describes the attribute of an entity. What does it mean? Let's suppose we have one object and we are having we are describing an information of object is nothing but a data. Let's suppose we have a car and we are describing its color, its how many wheels are there, and we are providing an information about that an object is nothing but a data. Next important thing is a database. Database is a nothing but a place where data will be stored in a systematic and organized manner. So let's suppose I have a record of student and I am storing it in a systematic and organized manner, then that is called as a database. How to handle with this database? So basic operation performed in database are create, read, update, delete. That is a CURD operation. Create means inserting a data in the database. Read means retrieving the data from the database. Update means modifying and data from the database. Delete means dropping and data from the database. Generally, this all operation is known as the CURD operations. Let's understand what is a DBMS. As of now, we have understood what is a data, what is a database. Now we will learn about a DBMS. The full form of DBMS is Database Management System. So it is nothing but a software which is used to maintain and manage the database. What does it mean? As I have given you an example. We have a student and we are giving an information of that student, like what is his name, what is his roll number, is nothing but an data. Database is what is the database? Let's suppose the name, roll number, contact number of that student I am organizing in a systematic manner is nothing but a database. What is the DBMS? That record, whatever the data which I have organized in a systematic manner, and now I am passing that data, all the database in our software is nothing but a database management system. Why we are using an DBMS? This software we are using to maintain and manage the databases. Two important factors which we are using in database are security and authorization. So to communicate with this DBMS, we are using a query language. So what is that query language? That query language is nothing but an SQL, structured query language. There are 4 types of DBMS: network DBMS, object oriented DBMS, hierarchical DBMS, relational DBMS. Previously we are using a network DBMS, object oriented, hierarchical DBMS, but now we are not using that. We are only using a relational database management system. So let's understand what is the relational database management system. Relational database management system is a software which follows the relational model. That becomes the relational DBMS. What is the meaning of following the relational model? If we are storing the data in a tabular format, let's suppose we are storing the student name, student contact number, student ID in a tabular format, is nothing but a RDBMS, relational database management system. For communicating with the database, we are using a structured query language, that is an SQL. Let's understand what is a relational model. Relational model is a concept. Here it is designed by data scientist E.F. Codd. E.F. Codd is a scientist who has who designed the relational model. In relational model, we store the data in the form of the tables. As I have given you an example of storing the student data in the form of tabular format is nothing but the relational model. So they using a relational model, E.F. Codd has also introduced some of the rules. We have to follow that rules when we are entering the data in the tabular format. So what are that rules? Let's understand each one by one. The data stored in this trail must be a single value data. So let's take an example, like I have one table here and I am storing the student information. So whatever data, like only one cell will contain only one data. The data stored in a cell must be a single value data, means only like one cell can have only single valued data. In RDBMS, we store everything in the form of table using including metadata. What is the meaning of metadata? A data about that data, like data about and data means the explain an explanation or the details of that particular data is known as the metadata. And I have already told you, in relational model we have stored the data in the form of tables. According to EF code, we can store data in multiple tables. If needed, we can establish connection between two tables using key attributes. So let's suppose I have a student table, and let's suppose I have a department table. So according to EF code, we can have multiple tables and we can establish the relation between student as well as the department. We can validate the data entered into the table in two steps, by assigning the data steps and by assigning the constraint. What does it mean? Let's suppose I am entering the data in a tabular format, like I am adding the student name. So what is the data type of student name? That is an varchar. So like what is the data type of ID? Integer. According to that, we can like validate the data, like I am giving an integer as an ID, so it won't allow character as an ID. Like second one is by assigning the constraint. What is the meaning of constraint? Constraint means we are having primary key, unique key, that all are the constraints that we are using to validate the data. Here data types are mandatory where constraints are optional. Data types are mandatory but constraints are optional. Now let's understand what is a software. Software is an automated solution for any real-time problem. Let's suppose I am having any, like I want to make one of the software for dealing with my real world problems. Then we are using a software. DBMS is nothing but a software where we can perform create, update, read, delete operation. And this we are like for this database we are having security as well as authorization. So what is an SQL? SQL is nothing but a structured query language used to communicate with the database. Like if I want to communicate with the database DBMS, then we are using one query language, that is a structured query language. Let's take two interview questions. Like understand what is the difference between DBMS and RDBMS. Second one is difference between spreadsheet and RDBMS. Let's detail it in like understand it in details. So first we will see what is an DBMS. DBMS is a software which we are using to store data in a systematic and organized manner. In RDBMS I have already explained you, data will be stored in the form of tabular format. RDBMS is a software which follows the relational model and this follows the systematic and organized manner. In DBMS we use query language to communicate with the database. In RDBMS we use structured query language to communicate with the database. In DBMS we store the data in the form of file. In RDBMS we store the data in the form of table. In DBMS we are storing the data in the form of file and here we are storing it in the form of table. This is the main difference between DBMS and RDBMS. Let's discuss about the second difference between the spreadsheet and RDBMS. In spreadsheet we don't have security as well as authorization, but in RDBMS we have security as well as authorization. In spreadsheet we cannot establish this connection between two sheets, but in RDBMS we can establish connection between two tables. We don't use any other language in spreadsheet. In RDBMS we are using a structured query language to communicate. Compared to RDBMS, spreadsheet storage is very less. RDBMS is having more storage. In spreadsheet we use formulas, but in RDBMS we use the functions. This all for our this video. Follow for next part. If you understood all the concept, Do like, do comment, do share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.